Well, hello there, Tankers of the Blitz universe. I'm Flossie, and today I will be reviewing the T110E3. Now, as you can see, this tank looks really nice now because it did get PBR in the latest update of the game. So yeah, the legendary camo looks absolutely fantastic. However, the armor, in fact, did get changed slightly, and I will go over those changes a little bit later, after I do, of course, go into the tank's stats. So let's jump right into that now. Now, in terms of the gun, this tank deals 680 damage on its standard shells, 580 on the premium, and 1020 on the HE. So that's very nice HE damage if you are able to get it out. Now, in terms of the penetration, it has 299 standard pen, 394 premium pen, and 99 HE pen. So overall, pretty good pen. I am using calibrated shells because, in my opinion, having a slightly better reload is not worth it on a tank that already has a 15-second reload to begin with. But anyways, pen is very good. And in terms of the gun's accuracy, though, it's a little bit troll. It has an aim time of 4.1 seconds, which is on the slower side of things, and its dispersion of 0.344 it's okay, but you're not going to really hit every single shot you fire, but that's very understandable considering this tank has 680 alpha, so obviously the gun is going to be a bit troll. Why would they make a Leopard 1 680 alpha gun? That's just not going to happen. So there you go, that's basically the gun for you. It does have 8 degrees of gun depression as well, which is very nice, and paired with the armor profile that I will show in a bit, you were able to work a lot of ridge lines in this tank, which is excellent. In terms of the DPM, it is 2651 while using calibrated shells, and if you do use rammer, you can get that up by about 200, but like, bruh, this tank does not really need DPM to begin with. It's already got bad DPM. So, like, why would you try and improve that when you could instead improve the pen by a little bit? Because every bit of pen helps in terms of dealing damage, because if you're not going to be penning your opponents, then you're not going to be using that DPM to your advantage. So there's no point, in my opinion. Now, taking a look at the mobility, this tank is quite slow. It only goes 34 forwards and, yeah, 10 in reverse. That is absolutely terrible. 10 reverse speed is the main downside of this tank, in my opinion, plus some armor weaknesses that I'll show in a bit. But yeah, that reverse speed is absolutely horrible. And its power to weight of 13.7 is not that great either. So yeah, you see there, your average speed is only 24. But yeah, you're not really going to be relying on the mobility of this tank. If you do see mediums or lights, they're going to be able to flank you for the most part fairly easily because your hull traverse rate is only 35 degrees. So yeah, be very careful as to where you're positioning this tank because that reverse speed is going to make it very difficult to get out of sticky situations. However, this tank does have improved engine power boost, aka super speed boost, and that is very nice. It does boost the reverse speed by 10 kilometers, making you go 20 in reverse while you're using this consumable, and it does go 5 forwards, or 5 faster forwards as well, so that's pretty solid. And that is why I use this consumable over adrenaline, because I prefer getting out of bad situations more easily, and that's the main reason I have this consumable, is I will save it for when I need to reverse out of a bad situation. Yeah, and in terms of why I use double repairs here, I'll go into the armor profile a little bit later, but it's very easy to track this thing. So you basically, I recommend you use double repair kit on this thing with speed boost or adrenaline. It doesn't really matter, it's up to your personal preference. But definitely run double repair kit because you are going to be getting permatracked very easily in this tank if you don't. Now, anyways, let's take a look at the tank's armor profile here. And you can see I am using an IS-4 to pen this, or to shoot at this thing with calibrated shells on, like I normally do. So you can see here, the armor is from update 10.7, which was the previous update. So the armor is slightly different, but I'll talk about that a little bit right now. So in terms of when you're loading AP against the E3, it's very strong. And for the most part, this armor profile looks the exact same, even in the new update. So yeah, the superstructure is still basically unpennable with standard shells, and the hatch is somewhat pennable, but it's so troll, man. Like, this whole, like, big square here is all spaced armor, so you're gonna have to get very lucky if you're using a heavy tank like the IS-4 to be able to actually pen this thing. Your main weakness is the lower plate, so tanks will be able to shoot at this fairly easily, and in the new update, they actually made the lower plate very much weaker, so it will be easier for tanks to shoot standard ammo at you. You can see here, it's only a slight bar, and the E3's lower plate was very troll in this update, the previous update. But yeah, in the newest update, you will be able to pen this lower plate more easily, and it'll be less troll, which is very good, I guess, when you're going up against this tank. Now, you can see here another thing is this little hatch here is only 76 millimeters in this update. Well, you can no longer spam HE at that thing. It's very, very nice, and I'm so glad that Wargaming did fix that spot, because you'd be able to spam this tank with HE in that little hatch, and you'd deal like full HE damage because of how bad this hatch armor is. But now, again, in the new update, you can no longer do that from what I am aware. So that's very good. Now, loading premium shells. You can see here, this tank against premium shells, especially high pen premium like the IS-4, is pretty solid. You can see you really have just these corner cutouts here on the superstructure that are now pennable where they weren't before. And obviously the lower plate is even easier to pen, as well as you do have the roof, depending on what is shooting at you. Sometimes people will be able to pen your roof if they have enough pen, or if their gun caliber is big enough, they can overmatch the roof sometimes. The hatch is still obviously going to be troll, so no one really shoots at that. So yeah, your main weaknesses are the lower plate and these little corner cutouts, which did get a little bit easier to pen in the latest update, but it's nothing crazy noticeable. So that's basically the tank's armor profile, and obviously if you are playing this thing hull down, your armor is going to be a lot stronger. You can see the corner cutouts are still a weak spot if you have enough pen. However, for tanks like mediums and lights, they're not going to be able to pen these whatsoever, because yeah, they're very troll and they become a lot smaller the less pen you have. So yeah, overall, the tank's armor hull down is fantastic, and even on flat ground, it's pretty decent. However, the main weakness of this tank, as you can see here by me slightly angling it, is the track wheels and the sides of this tank where the tracks are attached. This is absolutely awful. 196 millimeters, and I'm barely angling the thing. You're going to be getting it buttered right through the tracks by most tier 10s and tier 9s, honestly. Like, the tracks are so weak on this thing, so if you put it at this sort of angle, you're going to be getting perma-tracked really easily, which is why I use double repair kit. So avoid doing any sort of angling in this vehicle. Keep your tank facing your opponents, and you'll do fine. Now, in terms of the side armor, it has 162 millimeters on the superstructure, 161, so that's pretty solid. However, this engine spot at the back, this little raised section, is only 76, so if tanks have enough HE pen, they'll probably try to aim here, and they'll be doing big damage, so watch out for that if you are being flanked. And in terms of the rear, pretty much every tank can pen you in the rear. Look at this, it's only 38 thick, so yeah. If you are going up against an E3 and you do get behind it, load the HE, because you'll be doing a ton of damage to it. So yeah, overall, good armor profile, even on flat ground, but you do need to watch out for those weak spots. Anyways, let's get into some live gameplay. Now, how do I recommend you play the E3? Well, I like to play this thing personally. I like to play it very aggressive with my heavy tanks. I don't normally go medium side in this thing, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One is you are basically at a mobility disadvantage, which means any medium tank that tracks you is going to instantly get around you, no problem whatsoever. And two, it's really annoying to deal with medium tanks because of your bad mobility. Once again, medium tanks can kind of just hide behind a rock and then peek you when you're like not paying attention. It's just annoying in general to deal with them. However, in certain situations, you kind of just have to go medium side, like on this map here. I would normally be going caves, but I don't really know what my team's doing. So you know what? I'm going to wait for this 57 heavy to cross this opening here, and we'll see if I can get a shell into him. He did stop moving. I don't know what he's doing right now. I'm not going to lie. I was expecting him to just cross into the open, but he didn't. But anyways, I play this thing behind my heavy tanks, and I basically use their HP to assist me. So I'll let them take all the shots for me, basically, like a bad teammate, and then I will farm off of them and basically assist them. That's what you want to do. You want to use this tank as like a basically a heavy tank without a turret, which is how you play that. So anyways, let's see if I can get a shell into this 57 heavy. Come on. Nice. Get a nice 657 roll into his turret there. And yeah, the gun hits very hard. So that makes this tank excellent at holding a flank. So if you're going up against heavy tanks, people are very scared to actually push you, and it's going to be very easy for you to hold in this tank. It makes it a very good beginner-friendly vehicle. And I do recommend it for a lot of beginners because it's also basically helping out your team. Instead of having a useless TD like a grill or something with no armor, you're basically giving your team another heavy tank instead. So that's very nice. And I'm gonna make my way towards mid because I do see their VK72 is here, and our E4 is also gonna get a nice slapperoonie into him. However, our type is kind of just YOLOing and dying, which is very sad indeed. So I am going to put my super speed boost on so I get a little bit more traverse, and hopefully I can kill this bat chat. No, we don't kill the bat chat. Okay, well, that's a bit unfortunate, isn't it? And, I mean, our team is just basically dead anyways. So I'm going to try and reverse out of here using my speed boost if I can. The Hori's probably going to pen me. Ooh, he didn't, actually. That's very big for us. Now, because of our bad reverse speed, the bat chat is going to get around me, but because I have a TVP behind me, he's actually dead. And right now, we're actually in a decent holding spot right here, so I should be fine for the most part. TVP, no, bro, fall back, bro. What are you doing, TVP? Oh, boy. Oh, boy, TVP, what in the world are you doing? Now, we do get penned by the E4. Our TVP just actually killed himself, which is very interesting indeed. So he was doing okay until he made that play. Very interesting. So we'll see. The Hori's probably going to pen me this time. That thing has so much pen, and I don't know how that one bounces him. Very interesting. Yeah, that's an L in the chat for my my shell. We'll see if I can at least bounce this VK here. I'm going to try and make sure that he can't see my lower plate. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to shoot whoever pokes first, honestly. I'll try and kill this VK if I can, but it's looking like the Hori is going to be the one poking me. So let's get a shell right into his superstructure there. And honestly, this VK is probably going to pen me, as you can see there, for 580 something. There we go, 585. So not all that great right now. We're probably going to end up dying to this this Hori or, like, I don't know, the E4 maybe. But as of right now, I am going to turn my tank around and we'll see if I can actually get another bounce from him. But unfortunately, the VK can see me, so it doesn't really matter. And that team was just quite awful. But yeah, we were able to do an okay job in mid, though, because of our armor profile, getting some bounces from them. But yeah, I mean, you do need team support in this tank to actually play effectively, and it's a very team-reliant vehicle, even if it is good hull down. So yeah, play this thing hull down, or with your heavy tanks on heavy flank, but you do want to sit behind them so you can use their HP for the most part, if you can. We did almost 2,600 damage for that first game. Our team was just awful, so we couldn't do any more. And we did bounce the Hori's superstructure once for whatever reason. So we could have done 3K technically. Now, we're on Dead Rail, which is actually a very nice map for this tank because we are going to... I'm going to probably push mid. And that's because I will be able to use my gun depression to basically work that hill right there. It's a very, very good hill. For a vehicle like this, and 07 to that 30B. Hello, sir. But we'll see if we can actually get a win this time around. So, again, I'm going to make my way towards mid. It's a very, very good spot for a tank like this. You do not want to be camping in the back in this vehicle. This gun is not accurate enough to do so. It's not like a Grill 15 where you can just snipe from across the map. The gun's very inaccurate when you're shooting people at distance. So you really want to be careful of how far back you are actually sitting in a vehicle like this. Now, I might take a blind shot at that bush because I feel like their 4005 might be back there. However, my gun said no, and my shell went literally like 10,000 meters before that bush. So, yeah, that was not very good for me. And our Badger is playing way too aggressive. So, yeah, don't play this middle spot like that Badger. Bro, can you back up in any worse of a spot? Thank you, bro. Yeah, don't play like that Badger. You don't want to be playing way too aggressive in this thing, because you'll get nukes like that Badger did. So yeah, I'm going to hold this spot here. We'll see if this 50B does poke me again. I'm going to try and shoot him if he does. But as of right now, it looks like the majority of our tanks are just over pushing on those two tanks over there. So we do get a nice 600 roll into the 50B. Now, I mean, it was a bit of a low roll, but it's okay. We did pen a shell, so that's a good thing. And their tanks are actually just overrunning a medium side right now. I'm gonna try and HE that guy in the rear. I feel like I had HE pressed. I don't know, man. Whatever happened, I didn't actually HE him. I guess I pressed my AP again by accident. But we still do 633 damage to that E6, which is very nice. Let's see if I can get another shell into you. There we go. 686 roll into his lower plate, which is very nice. You can see the alpha damage on this tank is fantastic when you are able to actually hit your shells. Now, I'm just going to hold this position because there's no point in me actually moving. Tanks like this E4 over here are going to have a very hard time penning me, and I'm going to be able to slap him right back. So, yeah, as of right now, I'm just going to hold this position, and I'm basically going to try and make sure this E4 can't get around me by using my speed boost in case he was to, like, YOLO me. So, yeah, he does shoot, and I'm actually going to care more about this E6 here. Maybe I shouldn't have. Oh, well. I wanted to kill that E6, but it doesn't really matter because their team is just going to lose. At this point, I'm just trying to waste their time by trying to deal with me. So I'm going to back up so the E6 can't even see me anymore, and I'll just load my gold and go right through his turret again. Yeah, this is so far looking good, and in a face hug, the E3 is very strong because of the mantlet. So yeah, we'll see what we can do. Hopefully this E6 does die, so he can't just get free farm into my rear, but if he does, it's not the end of the world, because this is, of course, a win no matter what. So I'm just hoping, there we go, we do get a bounce from the E4 there, and you know what? I'm going to go for this E6 because he does have more HP than me, or than the E4, sorry, and I don't think the E4 is going to be able to kill me. There we go, and I do make the right choice, and we do get an extra 200 damage out. So yeah, pretty solid game. We were able to turn around and hold off those couple of tanks while our team dealt with the heavies on the other side. So that's a pretty good showcase of this vehicle's gameplay, and we did almost 4,000 damage, so much better result than our first game. Our first game wasn't terrible, but it was basically on the team. Our team kind of sucked, so it is what it is. And yeah, let's get into game number 3 to see if we can keep that up and get 2 out of the 3 games winning, or win 2 out of the 3 games, bro, my English. Anyways, we're on New Bay for our 3rd and final battle. Not a bad map for this tank. On a map like New Bay, you can go park or you can go bridge. So either way, it doesn't really matter where your team goes. You're going to be pretty effective. And that's the thing that's nice about a tank like the E3 that has lots of gun depression. You are a very flexible tank on pretty much every map you play on. It doesn't really matter where you go. You'll find a spot pretty much anywhere that you can work this tank hull down. And because honestly, the frontal armor of this tank on flat ground isn't all that bad. Even if you are on a more open map like this, where there's a lot of town area, it's actually pretty decent still. So we'll see what we can do. We have a Badger Grill E3 up against us, a Mouse. So most likely, yes, their team is going to be going towards this side of the map, which is very good because since we do have this spawn, I have control of this park section, which is going to be very, very helpful for us because we will be able to use our gun depression and our turret armor to our advantage. And you can see our very nice premium pen easily cutting through the Badger's superstructure there. So we get one nice shell into him, and at this point, there's not a whole lot he can do about me. He's not going to be able to pen me back, and as long as he keeps sitting there, I'll be able to get 3 shells into him. However, it looks like he's just getting YOLO'd by double tank destroyers, so he's basically going to die in the next couple of seconds. Not too worried about him anymore. He's basically dead meat. So I do see the Mouse off to our side there on our left, and that's honestly who I'm probably going to go for. Because the majority of our heavies are dealing with that Badger. Once he is dead... Ooh, wait a minute. They do have a grill. Ooh, they also have an E3, though. Well, I was going to go for the grill and try and get an HE into him, but they do have an E3 over there. So that's a little bit problematic. Ooh, the TVP is sitting in the open, though. I might just take a shell and try and HE him. Oh, a nice 907 roll. It was a bit of a low roll, but that was totally worth it. I will take a shell from that E3 any day to do 900 damage to a TVP, and that actually got him killed, which is excellent for our team. So, at this point, I'm just going to wait for my shell to reload. I don't know what that E3 was shooting at, but it didn't really work out for him. And, yeah, we'll see what we can do. Maybe I can get a shell into the grill here with another HE. Let's see. Let's see if he's going to pull forward again. Come on, grill. Come on, come on, come on. Pull forward, please. Ah, rip. That was kind of a 50-50 if that was going to pen, because I had to get my shell through those stupid bars right there. So it was going to be a difficult pen either way, and honestly, that's okay. That was on me for taking that shot to begin with, but let's see if I can actually get another HE. This time it does pen 800 damage, even with Spall Liner, and because I do have my speed boost available, I will speed boost towards the damage. Since we are winning this game so easily, I might as well go and try and farm out the mouse here. So let's get to his side, and sheesh, we do hit him for 634, which is a low roll, unfortunately. But we are still doing okay, and if I can at least get one more shell into him, then that would be lovely. Doesn't look like I will. Oh, wait. Come on, Badger, don't. Rip, the Badger got him before I did. So yeah, we did just under 3k for our third and final game, and not too bad considering of how much of a steamroll that game actually was. So yeah, overall, 3 decent battles. The first one was kind of sus, but that is what it is. Teams are kind of bad sometimes, but it's okay. We did well in our last 2 games and a pretty solid showcase of what this tank can do. And I do actually recommend people grind this tank. The line is a little bit painful, especially the tier 8. It's a little bit sucky, but once you do get to the tier 10, this tank is very fun to play, and I do recommend it for newer players to get into heavily armored TDs. I think it's an excellent option. Anyways, for any of you out there who are not yet subscribed to my channel, I highly recommend you do so, as it's a fantastic way to support my content and stay up to date when I post almost daily. And with that, I will see you next time, probably in the stream that I will be doing tomorrow. But anyways, yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.